and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is Monday evening. It's the start of a new week, so welcome on in. It's live stream night tonight. Decided to just do a wee Q&A to kick off the week because up until the last sort of half an hour, it's been a reasonably quiet news day. And right before I came on stream tonight, while I've been eating my dinner and getting myself ready, a couple of stories have emerged. So that the thumbnail for the... My God, I'm spinning. I try to fix the wire on the mic, and I have, in doing so, twisted it. So even though I thought tonight I was coming on to go just through a couple of quieter stories and stuff that wasn't all that significant, we've actually had a couple of big stories for me to look over and for me to talk about, so we're going to try and get that done over the course of this stream, while also, of course, doing the usual, the Q&A session with you guys, getting all your questions and answers with anything related to Celtic Football Club. So we have got a few things to cover. Welcome on in. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated if you're watching live at the moment, or if you're coming in to watch the stream later on via video form. It would still be appreciated if you jump down below. It's nice to see you all in the chat. Some of the regulars, Donny Tiny Hands, good to see you. I love the chant. Thank you very much. Gary McAllister, good to see you as well. A few other regulars. Good evening to each and every single one of you. I need to get off sharpish tonight. It's Monday, and if you remember any of my Monday streams, you know it's five-a-sides night for me. And the reason that we're on at 6:30 rather than 7 or 7:30 tonight is because my five-a-sides has been moved. It's been brought forward, which means I had to bring the stream forward as well. So shall we just get into the news before I waste any more time, because the more time I get to take your questions and answer your questions, that always makes the stream a little bit better. Now tonight, before I came live on air, very recently, a story has broken surrounding the potential transfer of Paulo Bernardo to Celtic. It appears there has been a stumbling block in the transfer which kind of looked inevitable. I've been saying for weeks on this channel, it looks like it's going to be the first signing of the window, and that I'm pretty confident a deal is going to be struck and announced pretty soon. However, if the outlets in Portugal are to be believed, we might have to wait just a little bit longer, because guess what? It wouldn't be Celtic Football Club if it wasn't us not wanting to pay money. So, shall we have a look at the story that broke from Portugal this afternoon? It has now been covered, and you might not have seen this because it is relatively new. This news is kind of fresh off the press, if you like. This broke today in Portugal via Record Portugal, saying that the salary has made it difficult for Celtic to put through the permanent transfer of Paulo Bernardo. Thank you very much to user 1967. Thank you for the donation, saying, been watching 3 years and never donated. Listen, you never need to donate, but I appreciate it when you do, so thank you very much, mate. I do appreciate that. Every small donation counts towards the channel and me sustaining this as my full-time job, so I appreciate that, and thank you for supporting the channel for so long, mate. It really does go a long way. So yeah, this came out saying that Celtic want the player on a permanent basis, but they've had difficulty paying the value of the contract that the midfielder has with Benfica. Now, you will notice when you get towards the bottom of the Record Portugal article here, that you can't read the whole thing because you need to subscribe, and I am not subscribing to Record Portugal to read the whole thing. But in the top here, it goes a little bit through Paulo Bernardo. There has been other stories, so if I just very quickly go and see what others are saying, essentially what the script seems to be, and the story seems that Celtic don't right now want to match the wages that Paulo Bernardo is receiving at Benfica. Now, I went out my way just before I came on stream to try and do some research and some digging in relation to what Paulo Bernardo has been earning at Benfica. There's nothing anywhere. It's all a disclosed figure. Now, the only thing that I could find was the wage that reportedly he was on at Celtic last year. That would have been a percentage of his wages at Benfica, because last year at Celtic, apparently we were paying £4,500 of his wages. He's not on £4,500 at Benfica. That'll be a percentage, if it's even real, if it's even true. There's no legitimacy in that. Well, no confirmed legitimacy. It might be legit, and the website that I found the information on usually is, but there's no guarantee that that's what Celtic were paying. And if it was, it would have been a small percentage of his wage. There is a chance that Paulo Bernardo could be on upwards of 10, 15, maybe even £20,000 at Benfica, depending on how much they decided to sign on his professional contract and then his extension that he received there not too long ago. Apparently Celtic not ready to match that number. The Daily Record picked up on it. For this article that was reported in Portugal, they picked up on it, and this is the wording of what the Daily Record has said in relation to the situation. They said that Celtic are reportedly having difficulty reaching the wage demands, and they've got apparently it's been they've got the price down for the actual transfer itself. That hurdle has been cleared. And apparently this is the next part. The Record in Portugal say it's not the club but the player himself making things difficult. They say that Bernardo's pushing for a similar wage to the one that he's on at Benfica, but that Celtic are having difficulty meeting those commands. So that is the latest in regards to the Paulo Bernardo stuff. Listen, what I will say is, in my final piece, whether there is, I assume there is truth to this. Record Portugal has been quite useful in regards to the Portuguese players that have been involved with this. Number one, Paulo Bernardo. I remember they were one of the first ones to report this story last year, that he was joining us on loan. And we also had a lot of information through Record Portugal to do with Jota's signing and then potential sale. What I will say is Celtic right now are making more money and have more money in the bank than they ever have in the entire existence and history of the club. And that's not to say that Celtic should go above and beyond and break any financial structuring or wage structuring for one individual player, and that player being Paulo Bernardo. I don't expect the club to bend over backwards, but I can't imagine this wage is anything too outrageous. And I'm hoping that there is a middle ground met soon. I'm hoping that the talks between both the player and the club itself manage to go smooth in the next week, and that we can get a deal finalised, because he's somebody who probably does deserve a decent wage. I'm not saying go out there and give him a record-breaking 40, 50 grand a week or anything like that, but what I am saying is if they want him that badly, and Rodgers wants him that badly, they should be more serious in trying to get towards the figure that he's expecting. After all, he is going to be leaving Benfica, and although he's been told by Roger Schmid, the head coach of the Benfica side, although he's been told he's not involved in the plans and he's not going to play for Benfica under his management, he could sit there and collect his money. Why would he take a significant wage cut? I don't blame him. And if Celtic think that that we should cut that hugely, then I think that's way off. We have so much money in the bank. This is typical of the board and the squad. Sorry, not the squad, the board and the upper echelon of the team. I can understand it from the aspect of there's so many players to get rid of and cut, and that wage bill has to come down. But they shouldn't sacrifice the signing of Bernardo in my eyes right now. I don't think it will be a tremendous wage he's asking for. I think we might be a few £1,000s off. The board should stop being so stingy. We should use our earnings and everything that the fans have put in for season tickets, merchandise and everything else to hurry up and pay the guys' wages and bring them in on a permanent deal. It is typical of Celtic to approach the situation like this, isn't it? By the way, thank you, a massive thank you. That is too generous. User 1967 saying, no worries mate, love the vids, keep them up. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That is 20 quid is more than you ever need to donate. Thank you very much mate, I appreciate it, and keep watching the channel. That's the best way to support. So yeah, we've got a quick update on Bernardo this evening. Let's see what a few of the fans are saying in the chat surrounding the situation, shall we? Let's get a few of your opinions before we move on to the next story. Craig saying that Bernardo has the potential to be a massive player for us, and equally he could be another dud stealing a wage at the club. Society, you've got to flip that coin. The thing is with Bernardo, for me, he's proven his quality at Celtic. This isn't someone we're taking a blind gamble on. This is somebody who I think is coming in with proven quality. But I get what you're saying. It's always a bit. Listen, that's the same with every signing. It's always going to be a risk. That's football, and if you don't take those risks, you're going to get nowhere. James says it sounds like Peter Lawwell is penny pinching once again. Let's see. Donny Tynan saying Rangers have a bigger wage bill than Celtic. I believe Rangers' highest earners earn more than Celtic's higher earners, which is unbelievable, to be quite honest. David saying I'd leave Bernardo and give Odin Thiago home his minutes. SV at Ascent says, why would we pay him more than we are paying Matt O'Reilly? He's not as good. Well, there's nothing in the article that suggests that's the case. We don't know what the figure is that he's on at Benfica. There's no confirmation of that number. So we can't compare the wage of Matt O'Reilly and we can't compare the wage of Paulo Bernardo because ultimately we don't know the figure we're talking about here. So nobody's saying that he's getting paid more than Matt O'Reilly. Remember that part. It's just Celtic don't want to pay the fee. Yes, I do, Mackenzie, and I still to this day get heart palpitations thinking about it. So it's a very weird night that when they donated the 200 quid. Let's see, Smell the Glove says we have made almost $1 million from Giacomakis joining that Mexican team. Almost another $1 million for having players at the Euros. How much money does Lawwell want to bank? Listen, we should be used to it by now, 20 years of, the board being in this situation. I assume that Bernardo's probably looking for a fee in the region in between, and it's a big region, it's a £10,000 region we're talking here, but somewhere between 20 and 30 grand a week. And obviously the club are probably not willing to pay up to that amount of money. But I think they should get the negotiations going, be kind about it, maybe up what they're offering right now, and hopefully they can compromise both the club and Paulo Bernardo himself, the player. So that was that story for tonight. So we'll come back to Paulo Bernardo through the week when we hear more. I still assume he might end up being the first signing of our summer transfer window. It all just depends if he walks away from the deal, which, if he's anything to go by the way he spoke about Celtic and the way that he's displayed a love for Celtic on his social medias, then I really doubt he will walk away from the deal. But obviously, we're talking about a fiscal situation. So, talking about signings this transfer window, last week on the channel we spoke about a certain Austrian centre-half who is at Euro 2024 with his national side, player by the name of Flavius Daniliuc, who was linked with Celtic, but there was a problem, the fact that he was on loan to Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian top flight. They had an option to buy the player, but a door has opened for Celtic and they don't need to worry about that option to buy once more, because news emerged between last night and this morning that Red Bull Salzburg will not be trying to activate that clause. Let's have a quick look at the story. We're going via the Football Scotland article. It wasn't originally broke by Football Scotland, but this was the first article I could come across for support and aid. The pathway is cleared. Red Bull Salzburg are not going to activate the clause, as described here by Football Scotland, saying that the hopes of reported target Flavius Daniliuc have been boosted after Salzburg have decided not to trigger the option to buy clause. Of course, he was on loan for the second half of the season, but will return to Salernitana in the Italian leagues when the official loan deal comes to an end. Basically, when the Euros is done, he will return back to Italy. They have decided not to exercise the option to buy him. However, doesn't mean that they aren't interested and doesn't mean that they will not go for him. They still can negotiate now. They just didn't want to trigger the fee that was in the original clause. So nobody knows what the fee was that Red Bull Salzburg had agreed with Salernitana. It might have been upwards of 5-6 million euros. They are not triggering that fee, but it doesn't mean they don't want to sign the player permanently. They're allowing him to return back to Italy for now so that they can begin negotiations, apparently, to see what happens. But there has been more detailed. They paid £4 million for the player back when they signed him. But the reports also suggest that Salernitana will want profit. They want to make all of their money back plus more, which means you're looking at a fee at least at £4 million, roughly 5 million euros. I assume it will be around £5-6 million they want for the player, because they want to make as much money as possible on Flavius Daniliuc. So the door is open now for Celtic to put a bid in, or speak to the club and speak to the player should he be an actual target. I said last week in my video, he is somebody who I really do want to see come to Celtic. I think he looks good enough, and I think that he would be a really good enforcement for the back line. So hopefully Celtic do get a word in, and hopefully they find out what the Italian side are looking for, but they will have competition, it does seem, with Red Bull Salzburg, who will go back in to try and negotiate a lesser price than the one agreed in their option to buy. But it means Celtic can negotiate, which is nice. But you're too generous to me. Thank you. User 1960. What a legend. That's like, what, 27 quid you've donated tonight. I feel bad. I feel like I'm robbing you. See, I'm scratching my head because I feel awkward. Did you see we're meant to play Nottingham Forest the pre-season friendlies, a 40-year anniversary thing? Yeah, I've seen the rumours floating about it, but nothing's obviously been announced yet. I hope that something does get announced, because I would love a wee pre-season friendly down at Nottingham Forest, mate. But obviously a lot of bother when we go down south, isn't there? Because aye. But hopefully it happens. I would love it, and thank you for the donation again, mate. I honestly can't show my appreciation enough. It really goes a long way, so thank you very much. Thank you. So yeah, Flavius Daniliuc, do it, Celtic. Go in, have a word, see what they're looking for. I'm assuming £5 or £6 million, as I said. Obviously, they can't command too high of a fee, considering, you know, he's not obviously a groundbreaking player, but he's certainly somebody with potential. He's certainly somebody at a decent age, and he's somebody who would come in and provide a good partnership option, I think, for Cameron and Carter Vickers. So we've got Salzburg to battle. And that is that. So that was the two big stories from today about Bernardo and Daniliuc. As you will notice in the thumbnail, I've also got a photograph of Alti Bayindir of Manchester United, because rumours have started popping up about him again. From my research and from my understanding, there is still nothing in that officially. I think it's just another one that's gathering traction on it. You know, there was some rumours going as far as saying that no surprise there, by the way. No surprise there. What have I been saying in my videos? Fucking leave Dubravka. If Celtic are seriously interested in them, we've got a big problem next season. Anyway, as I was saying, the Binder stuff, as far as my understanding goes, is nothing. Some reports suggesting that Celtic... I seen one saying that Celtic have actually signed him, Alti Binder. That's not the case. I can say that to you right now, but the rumours are coming back through in quite in a prevalent fashion, actually. So yeah, there you go. That's that. Finally, Ugurkan Shakir, Turkish goalkeeper, his name's been thrown up again as well. £8.5 million seems to be the fee getting thrown around, but his name has popped up. So you will see talks about Alti Bayindir and Ugurkan Shakir over the next couple of days, because their names are just back in the rumour mill. So, but it doesn't seem we're any closer to having a keeper permanently yet. As annoying as it is, it's just name after name after name. As long as it's not Martin Dubravka. That's my last words on it. Anyway, should we get into the Q&A? We've went over our big stories for today. I hope that's enough depth in them for you. Let's get your points, your questions, and let's finish off this stream with a bang, shall we? Let's do that. I want everything that you guys are thinking and all the questions that you have for me, because I need out this loft. It is bloody... It was actually nice and cool up here earlier, when I was doing some research and stuff, but it's suddenly got incredibly fucking warm. Tim, we'll start with Tim saying we're in the serious money this year without selling Matt O'Reilly, because 4 million for O, 7 million fee for Frimpong, and 6 million being floated around for Mikey Johnson. I will be surprised if we actually get the 6 million for Mikey Johnson, but I do get what you're saying. We are due to make some good money. Listen, we've already made incredible money. We made £70 million £60 million, I should say, for qualifying for the Champions League. So, we are in serious money. So, that's that. Out of all the supposed goalkeeper links, who would you go for? I would say Livakovic. I've seen this Livakovic thing pop up again last night. It's total rubbish. There's nothing in it as much. And you know me, if you were watching the channel last summer, you'll know how much and how badly I wanted Dominic Livakovic. It's nonsense. He will not be Celtic's keeper next year. Sorry to destroy your dreams, Callum. Out of all the ones so far, I think the two top ones for me are Peter Vindal and Sakir. I think they're two of the more realistic ones and two of the better ones as well. So I'm pretty sold on the Vindal Jensen if we can make the negotiations happen. Sakir, apparently 8.5 million plus add-ons. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. Apparently 8.5 million plus add-ons is what they're looking for. Jesus God almighty, my nose just went really itchy all of a sudden. I swear I'm not doing anything fishy. I'm just saying. But it's just went really fucking itchy. They two are two of the people that I would have at the top of that list. Let's see what else. What else have we got? Let's see. Jesus, 6 million for Johnson. What mugs are paying that? I told you, I would be absolutely stunned. Absolutely stunned if any club was to go out and pay 6 million for Johnson. You'd be right. They would be mugs. Smell the glove. You would be right. Any update on Ida? Nope. Nothing since the last thing I said about Ida on this channel remains the exact same right now. Even from people that sources that I can message and frequently keep in touch with, nothing at all as of now. Hopefully it's one of those surprise signings. I would like that. If O's going for 4 million, Mikey might go for 25 million, says Connor. Well, you never know. Listen, I think I'd rather own my team than Johnson, to be quite honest. What do I think of him going for 4 million? I think it's good business. And I wish him the best when the move actually does materialise. And Tim again saying, I think the 8 million is too much for Ida. I'd personally rather go for Miovski because in my opinion he's a better goal scorer. 8 million is a hell of a lot. I don't know if 8 million will be as high as what Norwich are looking for. But yeah, it's a hell of a lot of money. It is. I don't know if 8 million is going to be as much as they're looking for, and I think Celtic would pull out if it was as high as that. To be quite honest, I don't think they'd pay that. But I want him, and I hope Celtic do the negotiations and don't take it lightly. I want them to pay whatever the fee is, considering how much money we've got in the bank. And listen, I think when people always say like too much money, this, that, next thing, if it's for a good player at the end of the day, it's not coming out of our pocket. Yeah, we buy season tickets and merchandise and such, but like, this is football now, and we need to start spending more money if we want to compete. I'm not saying that he is the end all be all and he needs to be the big money signing for Celtic, but I think that by signing him, it would be a real good backing and thank you to the Celtic supporters, because we all want him. Most of us want him anyway. But look, listen, Miovski's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. Let's see. Are we making money on? Oh, yes, we are. How much money are we making on him? Roughly £2 million, I think it comes to almost. So we signed him for 2.5, and we'll be selling him for 4.2 plus add-ons. So as it stands, just under 2 million, and then there'll probably be a sell-on included as well. So yeah, I'm a Swiftie actually. I love a bit of Taylor Swift. Not like one of the cult members, but I like her music. I always have. Hugh Keevins claims that Celtic have secured 2 signings, but we don't know who they are according to... Has he? I didn't read that. Did he write that in an article? I've not seen that at all. Jeez. Oh, thank you, Mr. Celtic. That's really appreciated. Once again, thank you for the donations. It is much appreciated. Saying that, do you think that it's vital that Rodgers needs to sign players that gets the best out of Kyogo? For a player of his class, we don't get enough out of him. Yeah, last season we definitely didn't get the most out of Kyogo. I think he maybe is needing a little bit of more quality either side of him. For as good as Forrest finished the season, I'm not taking digs at James A. Forrest here before anybody thinks I am. And I'm not taking digs at Dyson Maeda for how great and how important he was at points last season, especially in the tail end run. I'm not taking digs at them, but I think that the Kyogo would benefit greatly from a couple of quality wingers on either side of him. You think of how good it was when Abada was playing his best on that right hand side, because when Abada was playing his best, he was the best winger at the club. And when he had Jota to the other side of him. Now we don't have Jota and Abada. We have downgraded on the wings, and I don't mean that lightly. I do genuinely believe we've downgraded. I don't think Forrest and Maeda are anywhere near the quality of Abada in that first season, even that second season, but more especially the first. Abada and Jota, and I think the numbers way to prove that. The assists that Abada and Jota were getting between them was a ridiculous number. So I think he could benefit with real quality. But listen, Kyogo himself is having to adapt. He's having to change. Ultimately, Kyogo himself needs to be better. But I definitely get where you're coming from, Mr. Celtic. Absolutely. And thank you for the donation. Yes. God's sake, you're taking that a bit far, aren't you, Marquee Player Network? You've never heard of CM Punk? He's the best, mate. He's the fucking best. And yes, I like Swift. God's sake, she's a musician, for crying out loud. God. Would I have a conversation with CJ Novo? I was talking to him the other day. I need to reply to him. He messaged me, actually. And I've not replied. I feel terrible about that. I'm really bad at replying to messages. And people that try to message me know that. I don't go on my phone all that often, to be quite honest. I'm not a huge... Which sounds daft, because I'm a big phone guy, but I'm not like... when I'm on my phone, I'm sitting scrolling TikTok. Which is terrible, isn't it? Let's see what else. I miss a bad Jota. Ryan, what do you think about Nawrocki and his limited playing time? I think he would be great if he got some starts. Had one mistake against Aberdeen and got dropped. I like Nawrocki. I think he deserves more time. I agree, Callum. I think he deserves more time. At the moment, financially, we're on par with a top 6 EPL team if we don't spend this season. I wouldn't say we're that. The thing is, right, and this is one thing, numbers aren't always what matters. It's just, we don't have the sustainability of some of these top 6 clubs. They're guaranteed a hell of a lot of money every year. Like, I'm talking hundreds of millions. We're not financially on par with these clubs yet. We're financially on par with maybe some other teams in the Premier League. But, you look at Manchester City, Manchester United, even Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea. We are not financially on par with them. Newcastle, even Aston Villa. We're not. We're nowhere near it. Especially when they're making hundreds of millions year upon year. They've got a sustainable amount of money coming in. We are really relying on Champions League money. But we have got... Listen, this is the richest the club has ever been in its entire existence. And absolutely, we should spend this season. I agree with that part, Plunge McNugget. Absolutely. It's starting soon, Ryan. Am I getting excited? What's starting soon? I don't know what's starting soon. Why was Ryan knowing the England versus Scotland game? Oh, me, you talk about the YouTube one? I don't play for the charity team or anything like that. And you think I was going to be cutting a bit in a Rangers top? Because I think they were in a Rangers top. Absolutely fucking not. I would rather end my channel as we know it, to be quite frank. Is Kieran Tierney worth spending 10 million? Nope. Simple as that, Tim. I've spoke about it. I would love him back, but not £10 million. Thank you very much. Should we sell Welsh? Yeah, probably. Just depending on what we do with the situation and try to keep players to register for a Champions League squad. That is one of the main things we've got to consider going into this summer. Is are we going to meet those criteria? Are we going to meet those requirements to make sure we can field a team in Champions League games, to field a 25-man squad in Champions League games? So yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, I know 100% we are. We have no debt, of course. Well, not any debt that we're aware of. I don't think there was any debts mentioned in the financial reports. We are got a lot more money than a lot of these English clubs. There's no denying it. The thing is, listen, the thing about spending money is there's a difference between spending the money and getting the right players to spend the money on, because so many players that we could spend money on if you want to compete with English sides, ultimately a lot of them have no interest in coming to Scotland. And no matter how much money you're willing to offer for a transfer fee or a wage, just a lot of them don't want it. So you are restricted in that regard. But when there is players that we can sign, we should be signing them. If we want them, if Rodgers wants them, that's one of the most important things to consider. So I've loved it. I've seen this narrative floating about. I used to be 30 stone, I lost £118. Aye. Of course. So listen, thank you for the support tonight. I'm going to wrap it up there because I better go and get ready for 5-a-sides. Thank you very much for tuning in. Of course, just to recap, Paulo Bernardo, apparently there's a wage difficulty. The door is open for Daniliuc, this Austrian centre half, to maybe go and sign him. So thank you. That's a great stream. I appreciate it. We'll probably have another one of these this week, following on with the videos as well as usual, depending on what the news is. So thank you for tuning in tonight, ladies and gents. Enjoy the rest of your night. Boo England. They're not even playing tonight. Actually, it's France. Boo England anyway. Take care. God bless, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-ra.